Hi, good day. That's a weird greeting. Hello. So today I want to talk about this book, Hotel du Lac by Anita Brookner. I still remember the time when I finished this book. It was actually like really raining. It was a weekend. I think it was the weekend, yeah. I wasn't at work and it was a Sunday, so it was raining really heavily and it was really cool, really nice, and it really helped me to finish this book. It really helped on my focus. And I must say that when I finished this book, I just felt really happy. I really loved the ending. So before I continue talking about this book, I'm just gonna say here that this video is gonna have a lot of spoilers. I think that, I guess from now on I'm just gonna say that all of the book talks are gonna have tons of spoilers because I think the spoilers are the juiciest part of the book. So if you have never read this book and you want to read it and you don't want spoilers, maybe you can stop here. But if you are interested to hear what I think, what I like about the book, or what I dislike about, certain books, then yeah, please continue on. But let me just say that it's gonna be full of spoilers. I'm just gonna talk about all of the details in order for me to like give my thoughts on all of that. Just a bit of an introduction. Hotel du Lac was a novel released in 1984. Yeah, 1984. I can't really remember. And it won the Booker Prize that year. Usually, if a book is kind of like nominated or won some kind of prizes, then likely it's gonna be a nice book. And Hotel du Lac is a nice book. I really enjoyed it. It's also a small book. It's only about like 200 pages long, my edition that is. And I must say that I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars and I really enjoyed it. So Edith Hope just finds herself in a Swiss hotel because apparently, when she was in England, I think it was in England, she did some sort of awful stuff, like some kind of indiscretion among her social circle. So her friend actually drove her to the airport and got her the ticket to Switzerland so that she can go to the hotel and just think about her actions and I don't know, repent or whatever. It was really weird. Like the fact that she's treated this way, it kind of makes you think about like why would she ended up being in that position. And I don't know, it's just it's I find it a bit difficult to imagine like people being driven away to somewhere far to think about their actions. It's kind of like you're trying to like punish a child where you ask the child to go to their room and think about their actions, kind of like that, or at least that's how I see it. But anyway, Edith arrives in Switzerland, arrives at a hotel, and the hotel was, it was out of season, so there aren't a lot of guests in that hotel. There are a few guests, and these guests are going to play some roles in Edith's character development later in the book. So there aren't many of them, so we're just gonna like talk about them and how they relate to Edith in this story. And also I'm gonna talk about like what is that supposedly indiscretion that she did in her hometown. So before the book actually talks about Edith's past in her home country, the book actually takes the time to bring us and explore the hotel and explore each of the guests that Edith meets at the hotel. So the first guest, I can't exactly remember who was the first person that Edith notices, but the first guest that actually play a prominent role is Mrs. Pusey and her daughter. They're like this really really indulgent people. They seem to be like really enjoying their life in that hotel, really eating nice food, buying lots of nice clothes and stuff. And Mrs. Pusey lost her husband, so it was just her and her daughter in that hotel. The second guest that Edith meets is a woman with a dog. Her name is Monica, and apparently she ends up in the hotel because her husband wants her to go there for supposedly health reasons. She had some sort of eating disorder, and she can't give the husband a child. So she was sent there, and she just follows what her husband has to do. And yeah, that's why she ends up in the hotel. Another guest is an old woman named Madame de Bonneuil, and she is just pretty much an old woman who was kind of like neglected some sort by her son. Her son is married to a woman, and the son's wife actually like does not want the old woman to stay in their house. So Madame de Bonneuil actually has to like just stay at the hotel, and her son would visit her once a month. And yeah, her story is kind of like a bit of a sad one. And after that, we also have one male guest, and this guy is called Philip Neville. He lost his wife who was unfaithful to him, and he was just there at the hotel vibing. So as we see how Edith interacts with each of these women and Philip Neville, we also get some glimpses of what happened to Edith back in her hometown. And as it turns out, the first thing that we saw was that she was actually a mistress to a married man. But surprisingly, that is not the indiscretion that supposedly got her into that position. What really happened was she stood her future husband up at the wedding. Basically, she was about to get married, but at the last minute she decided not to, and she just kind of ran away, and the marriage didn't happen. The wedding was she was a no-show at the wedding, and everyone thought it was like really uncool, and her friend thought it was not cool at all, and that's why her friend suggested her to go to Switzerland and think about her actions. So that's basically the thing that she did. She did something at the last minute, something a little bit surprising, and it just didn't jive well with her friends. Everyone was not happy about that, so that was the thing that she did. Though to be fair, she wasn't exactly like really prepared for the marriage, really prepared for the wedding before that, and that is why she kind of made that decision. The decision wasn't exactly the most tactful one, but it happened because she just doesn't want that life, so that's why she ends up doing that thing. So back at the hotel, Edith is just chilling with all of the guests and by herself, and it was there that she interacts with each of the guests. And from the reader's point of view, her interaction with the guests is actually like, from how I see it, it's like Edith interacting with a foil of her. Like, you have all of these guests ended up in the hotel, the female guests especially, they end up at the hotel, and all of them has a backstory that relates to their dependency to the man in their lives. And Edith over here is someone that we see as a person who is like really independent, almost some kind of classic independent woman. She's a writer, she's moderately successful, she earns her own money, and when she interacts with each of these people, it seems like they are showing a little side of her that still has this sort of dependence towards men or other people in her life. And it's over there that we kind of start to see how Edith grew a little bit more and more along the course of the novel, and I think that's really fun. What's most fun in this novel is that there's actually an action at the end in which Philip Neville actually proposed something to Edith that is a little bit surprising for her. It's something that shakes her a little bit. That event actually happens near the end of the book. You can say that most of the part at the beginning of the book is where things are a little bit slow. It is when Philip Neville proposed Edith to marry him on a marriage that is loveless. So towards the end of the book, Philip Neville actually asked Edith to marry him, and it was there that we start to see like all of the things that Edith has been thinking about herself, like things that she discovers about herself this is kind of like her test of some sort, and her decision is actually going to affect her for the rest of her life. And it is there that I would say the readers is starting to get like really engaged with Edith's decision. Now this book is really short. Her decision at that particular question is where her, all of the things that she learned before that is put to the test. It's like all of the things that happened before that are just like classes, and that question is like the final exam, or at least that's how I see it. And that is the part where it gets really exciting. Now, the marriage that Mr. Neville proposed is not actually like a marriage of love. It's something that is convenient, and convenient for him especially, and she just wants a woman who just happens to be there, be a wife, a trophy wife of some sort. And it was not exactly unfair for Edith, but at the same time, Edith was just at a state in which she was unsure of what she was supposed to do. She is a mistress of a married man, and at the same time, she has her own career, and at the same time, she kind of did things that are not awesome at the eye of her friend. So she was really conflicted about what she was supposed to do, whether she should go back to her hometown or whether she should start anew at a different place, albeit at a situation that is not going to be ideal for her. It's not going to be like emotionally ideal for her, because Edith is the kind of person who longs for a relationship with people. So this is where we kind of see like what is the direction that she take in response to that marriage proposal. And I think this is the point in which the novel starts to get like really exciting, because at the end, I would say that the novel has a happy ending, and I really liked it. I really cheered for Edith because of what she chose to do in response to that proposal. In terms of language, this book is quite simple. It's easy to follow, and there are a lot of dialogues where you can get really immersed in each of the characters' personality and their motivation. And I really like dialogues because they are short and crisp, but at the same time they are packed with information, and that's why I really like this book. It has a lot of that, and at the same time the tone is also quite wry. It's a little bit sarcastic at a few places, and it's a bit funny as well. It doesn't try to be like really dense and intellectual and smart. Instead, it feels really casual. So when you read it, it feels like something that is super relaxing. And it and like I mentioned earlier, I actually finished like this book. I read most of it when it was raining outside. It was really, it was cool, and it was really comfortable, and I really enjoyed that experience. And so this book overall kind of had a really pleasant experience for me. So all in all, I think that Hotel du Lac is a wonderful book. It's really awesome. It is a kind of book that is very, very, very character driven as well. So plot wise, the only exciting thing is when Philip Neville is proposing to her, and even the outcome of that event is something that is determined by character rather than something that is action filled. So if you like seeing character development, then yeah, this book is really awesome. I really loved it. I really enjoyed her her self-discovery journey in this book, and overall it's just fun. It's wonderful. So that's it for Hotel du Lac, and I will see you again next time in a different video. So until then, take care and bye bye.